Another day and another NLW podcast. Yes, it's episode 16 and we're back with the NLW podcast. Hopefully, next week going to have a guest interview with a special surprise, but we will see if that falls through or if that's even going to happen. We'll see. But that is something I want to do more on this podcast. Have more guests on to kind of liven things up a little bit, give things a bit of a shake-up. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about what happened with my camera and what gave me a big panic this week. We're also going to be talking about the drama between CM Punk and AEW and Hangman Page. So much juicy details there, and also more heading into Clash at the Castle. But we'll start off with what we normally do on the NLW podcast, and that's talking about what I'm working on at the moment. So I'm still working on the barbed wire match. In fact, I have just finished filming it. So it's completely filmed. It's going to be a wild match that you should look forward to. I think it's about around the start of October that should be up on YouTube. I've also been, first of all, my camera broke, but that's a story that I'll kind of explain after I'll talk about what I've been working on, but that's a story for in a minute or two. I've also been editing a lot of videos, so I've found some old footage of NLW Ruthless that I haven't released yet, so I might compile that into like a special one-off video for you guys to see if you're interested. And I'm also going to continue working on Revival. So what I've done with Revival, I've filmed 2 pick-fed matches for it. So that's the heavy metal tag match and the Knockouts title match. And that's going to be on the buy-in, which is going to be like a special kind of pre-show, preview type thing. And then on the main card, it's going to be Joe McIntyre, Darby Sammy, the barbed wire match, and the Lethal Lockdown match. So what I've been doing this week is just editing the first bits of Revival together. The final match I've got to film for that is Lethal Lockdown. All the rest has been filmed and mostly edited. I've actually edited completely part 1, and that'll be up on the 24th of September, I want to say. So just over a month away now, with the buy-in being around the 17th, I believe. Obviously, Metal Wrestling has just been uploaded, so if you've not seen that yet, go and check it out. Some big developments. I won't spoil it for those of you who've not watched it, but it's definitely got a lot of storyline development going on it that you're not going to want to miss. And also this Saturday as well, NLW 24/7 All Out. So that is going to be an exciting show that I can't wait for you to see, because it's got a 30-minute Iron Man match on it between CM Punk and Kazuchika Okada, which, you know, it's one of my favourite matches I've ever filmed, and you get to see it this Saturday. Aside from that, I've also been working on a new show, because I've kind of been thinking about NLW 24/7, and I might have kind of brought it up a little bit last week, where I was talking about maybe ending NLW 24/7, because, I don't know, to me, not that it's gotten stale, but I do still enjoy it. It's just, I don't know, I feel like there's only so much that I can do with it now that I feel like I've done every scenario possible. So I think I want to start something new. But, you know, we'll still see. It might continue, it might not. But I have made tentative plans for a new series. Obviously not going to take too much away from the main series, but it's a new kind of offshoot of NLW, like a sister promotion. Those of you on Patreon will know what I'm talking about, because I've kind of made a post about it. It's called XL Pro, and it's a new sort of wrestling promotion that I've kind of pig-fed, obviously, that I founded, and I'm going to have like rankings and stuff. But this time it'll be canon to NLW, so, you know, Patreon viewers can request matches for it. If you sign up to Patreon as well, you can request matches for it. And I'm going to start adding an option to request pick-fed matches for NLW too, like bonus matches. For instance, Remy Montoya recently requested Keith Lee versus The Undertaker, so I'm going to add that to the NLW schedule, have that as like a little bonus match. And I want to do more kind of bonus matches aside from the main shows. So that's really what I've been up to, as well as writing new material for after WrestleMania, just to get myself a little bit pumped up for WrestleMania and filming that. Because sometimes I do like to write shows for way in the future, just so it gives me something to work towards, if you know what I mean. But that's it for the kind of NLW news, what I'm working on. But we'll also talk briefly about my camera before we get into figure news. So, it was about, I want to say 4 days ago now, I was going to film the barbed wire match. I was so pumped. In fact, I was in the middle of filming it. I was loving it. And then suddenly I'm trying to take a picture and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Wouldn't work. I turn it off, turn it on again. The screen's black, and it's interesting because I know it's on because the camera's like flicking, and I can see that it's working. And I'm trying to click the shutter button, and I don't know whether to hold it to reset or what I can do to change it. But then, I detached the lens. I took out the battery and the memory card and everything, left it for like a day, came back to it. It was fine for a couple of minutes, and then suddenly the same thing happened. And I have no idea what has caused it, what I've done to it. Maybe it's just wear and tear generally, or something else. But I just turn it on, and I can see that it's on, but it's so kind of frustrating to find an answer on YouTube or Google when I'm trying to like troubleshoot it, because I don't know what the problem is. I can't explain it in words. Like, the buttons don't work, but the camera does work. Like, if you were to take a picture, it's just the shutter sound doesn't make a noise, which is really odd, because the view, like when you look through the camera on the viewfinder, anyway, it's all camera jargon that I'm not too up to speed on. So unfortunately, it was like Saturday when this happened as well, when it happened again, I should say. And obviously, all the tech support and stuff was down for the weekend, so I had to wait another 2 days. I couldn't do anything NLW related, really, after already editing stuff, So I went online, I tried to talk to an agent this morning, and, they say the same basic things, like turn it off and on again, and bloody, detach the lens and leave it to stand and stuff like that, and go on the menu, and I'm like, I can't click the menu to reset the camera, that's the problem. But they were fine about it, and they were very helpful in terms of just like, all right, fair enough, I can't really fix this over the phone or whatever. You just got to ask a repair guy. So I don't know whether I have to do that myself, because I can't afford at the moment. Like, money's so tight right now that I just can't afford to, get it fixed if I wanted to do it professionally. And I can't afford to buy another camera. I'm very lucky, though, that my dad actually had a spare camera, and it's the exact same one, because I recommended it to him last year, and he barely uses it, so he's graciously let me borrow it. But I still really want to get down to the bottom of why this camera's not working. And it's really frustrating too, because there's only a 1 year warranty on it, and it's been like 1 year and 3 months, something like that. So like cut off point for when I could have got a warranty and gotten another one or whatever is just, it's so close, and it's so frustrating that it's happened now, because this was a problem that I had when I first got the camera, and then it was fine for 1 year, and now it's happened again, which, part of me is like, oh, for goodness sake. But another part of me is like, well, it fixed itself before. Maybe it could fix itself again. I don't know. But I'll try and turn it on like in a day or two, see what happens. If not, I'll try and contact Canon again and just try and get it sorted. It's really annoying as well when like I finally get one burst of momentum. I'm trying finally to get back in there and get back on the ball with the NLW stuff, back from my break, and then this happens. It's it's difficult not to get demotivated by it, but sometimes if it's so like over the top and so much stuff goes wrong, you just kind of got to like laugh it off, because it's like, oh, it's so like over the top that this inconvenience is like, whatever. There's nothing really I can do about it now. Like, I'm just lucky that I've got a backup camera, because before I didn't realize I had a backup camera, and now I'm like, I just feel relief, as opposed to before where I was panicking so much. Especially because I'd already filmed like a half a match on it, but luckily the memory card was fine and all that. And, I've just hoping, with what happened with my hard drive last year, I'm just uber cautious now. So, yeah, that panic out of the way. Let's talk about something less negative. Let's talk about something positive. And we'll go on to figure news, wrestling figure news. What's happening in the world of Mattel, Jazzwares, what have you? Well, the new generation Mattel Creations Crowdfunder is finally shipping. Yes, we've seen a couple of creators post about it already. They've got their rings, they've got their LED light-up things, the Macho, Diesel, that. A couple of people were kind of worried that they weren't getting their Macho shipped, which was quite funny. But again, it's just comes in a separate order, that's why. A separate shipment, I should say. So I'm getting mine. Mine's being shipped as we speak. At least one of them is. The other one, I've still not got a shipping notification on that one. But I can't wait for it to come. It should be here in the next couple of days. I definitely want to make a video on it. Not just to show off, but just like to be like kind of excitement, makes me feel like a kid again as well, getting like this whole big arena package thing with like the crowd, the light up thing, the ring, all of that stuff. And you know what? In hindsight, pretty good price, like for what? $250, which in the UK at the time, obviously, like, I think it was £180, something like that. 180 to 200 with shipping. So they're obviously now, like, the exchange rate is way closer, so it'd be a bit more of a price point issue. But yeah, still cool. I actually have as well cancelled a pre-order I made for a AEW Series 9, I want to say. Yeah. And I did want them, like I wanted Thunder Rosa and all that, but at the moment, again, like I said, money's tight. I'm trying to kind of limit my wrestling spend. Well, just spend in general, really. You do incur like a 15% pre-order kind of fee, so I basically paid 15 quid for the idea of wrestling figures, I guess, but to be honest, I'd rather have 80 quid back in the bank. Yeah, it is what it is, but, I'd rather kind of hold my horses on that a little bit, because you never know. They might go down in price in the UK, if they're even released in the UK, because we have seen that the AEW figures have been reduced quite a lot on the Entertainer and Smiths. So are we still going to get the AEW series? I would hope so, because they are easy to find in stores, including like up-to-date figures of AEW as well, whereas WWE kind of falls behind in terms of their releases into stores. So we will see. We'll see what happens there, but hopefully AEW keeps supplying figures. And speaking of figure news, we've also heard about an Impact Wrestling line of wrestling figures. I believe Deonna Purrazzo was one of them. Who else was there? I know that Moose was there, Eddie Edwards, and someone else. I can't think off the top of my head, but a solid group. Obviously the renders, they look a bit basic at the moment, but it'll be exciting to see what the prototype figures are going to look like. But yeah, it's cool to see more wrestling figures get in the game, at least different companies getting in the wrestling figure game, including, the Lucha Libre Legends series with Taya Valkyrie and the Lucha Bros and all that. So it's cool. It's cool to see these different companies kind of try their hand at making wrestling figures. So that's the wrestling figure news out of the way. Now we come on to the wrestling news. And boy, oh boy, CM Punk, he's only done it again, threatened to walk out, allegedly. Because I don't like to talk about like rumours and stuff, because you never know if stuff's being like kind of blown out of proportion, what you're hearing on the dirt sheets and stuff. A lot of the time it's just kind of sensationalized a little bit, but the rumor and innuendo is that CM Punk is unhappy with AEW because of what Hangman Page said in a promo months ago, which to me sounds a little bit petty, but again, this is just pure speculation, isn't it? So, you have to take these stories with a pinch of salt. I did think it was a little bit unfair to bury Hangman live on air, but hopefully this leads to something in storyline where they can work it out. There's also the rumours that CM Punk, will he even be at All Out? That's my question, because next week, or this week even, he's going to be facing Jon Moxley in the unification match that was originally scheduled for All Out, which makes me think that CM Punk is losing on Wednesday. And I'll tell you why. Maybe they don't want him losing in Chicago. Maybe he wants to go away again. Or maybe they want to have him face someone else in Chicago. Maybe Hangman Page. Who knows? But I think because Mox is in his home state, I believe, in Ohio this Wednesday, so that's why I think that he might win. And then maybe you have something with MJF coming out. I don't know. But I would maybe wait for MJF to come back in Chicago. I don't know if you want to hotshot it just 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. And can we talk about this pay-per-view as well? I don't know, man. I'm not hyped for All Out. Just going to say it. I'm more hyped for Clash at the Castle, but that's only because I'm going to it, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But, yeah, something about the build. It's just not sitting with me. I'm glad to see Kenny Omega back. Don't get me wrong. I think that Bryan Danielson as well and Daniel Garcia had a cracking match, as was the main event. But something's not hitting, and I don't know what it is. It's like it's a storyline thing, I think. Because when you first had AEW, it was very much a story-driven product. There would be threads throughout the show. And that's what Triple H is kind of implementing in WWE at the moment. Storyline threads such as the Dexter Lumis stuff last week and this week. And again, like the Drew McIntyre stuff where he's fighting off the bloodline throughout the night. I feel like AEW could benefit from some sort of more cohesion with the product, because it feels like each thing is an island unto itself at the moment. There doesn't seem to be as much overlap as there was kind of in the beginning months. And, it's the honeymoon period, I suppose, isn't it? Where people are hyped for a new product and people get used to the same old thing. That's why you see people calling for CM Punk to leave. I don't want CM Punk to leave. I still think he's a very valuable asset, and I'm not I'm just going to ignore the kind of reports about his kind of attitude backstage, because it's not really what I'm bothered about, really. I'm just bothered about what I can see on screen, you know? But I can't lie, it does sour me on him a little bit, because I like Hangman. I think Hangman's great, and I think, by all accounts, wanting to stand by Colt Cabana, who's been there for a very long time, longer than Punk, like 2 years longer than Punk, or a year longer than Punk, I should say. Yeah, I don't know. All seems a bit weird, a bit of a weird energy, a weird vibe going around in AEW. Hopefully TK gets it under control, because I still think there's a lot of good there, but I don't know. Booking a 6-man tag with Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal versus Wardlow and FTR, I don't know if that's the kind of match you want to put on pay-per-view, maybe Rampage at a stretch. It's just weird. I don't know, my opinion, but what do you guys think? I'm sure All Out will be good. Like, I've got it for free with my Fight credits, luckily. Because otherwise I don't think I'd actually pay for it. But, you know what, I don't want to be too negative on AEW. There's still a lot of room for them to grow. You know, they're still hitting high ratings with the product they got at the moment, in the punching up to 1 million, but not quite. So we'll see how it goes there. But let's talk about Clash at the Castle, because I'm going. Yes, I'm going to Clash at the Castle in 2 weeks' time, and I cannot wait. It's like, I tried to get cheap seats because I did not want to pay like 200 quid. This was at the time when WWE was a bit mid, you know, probably a bit worse than mid, to be honest. But now they seem to be firing on all cylinders, and this card looks stacked. You got Gunther and Sheamus, you got Drew McIntyre and Roman, you got Riddle and Rollins, the 6-woman tag with EO's, Bayley's new group with EO and Dakota, as well as Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. That should be an interesting one, and it'll be interesting to see what other matches they add. And I want to vlog it. I want to do my first vlog, but I'm probably not confident enough to actually do it like live in person, you know what I mean? So I'll probably like take some video and voice it over in kind of a fun little montage. We'll see if I actually get round to it. But yeah, I can't wait. I haven't been to wrestlings for like, it would be about 3 years now. In fact, 3 years almost to the day, when I went to see Royal Quest 3 years ago in London. And that was a great show as well. Hopefully Clash at the Castle as well is a very fun experience. But are you going to be going to the Clash at the Castle? Anybody listening? Let me know. You might see me, but you wouldn't know what I look like, so there you go. What about Match and Wrestler of the Week? So, Match of the Week, and you know I was ragging on AEW, right? I was, okay? But I'm going to say Match of the Week, Danielson versus Garcia. Garcia was made in that matchup. It was fantastic. 2 out of 3 falls. It went about 25 minutes. Just hard-hitting grappling, hard strikes. Even the stuff in the picture-in-picture was quite entertaining too. Just the different rest holds and stuff, they kind of made it more fast-paced than your average technical matchup, more creative, certainly hard-hitting. At one point, there was like a spider German suplex from the top rope, and Brian, he goes down 1-0, and then he gets another fall and another one to secure the victory. And Garcia at the end, it looks like he's turning face, but I don't know whether that's just a tease at the moment, whether he's trying to lull Danielson into a false sense of security, because maybe it'll be Danielson versus Jericho All Out, which I wouldn't be opposed to seeing. And then Garcia will be like psych to Brian and kind of turn on him again. But yeah, Match of the Week, Danielson and Garcia. Wrestler of the Week, this is tough. Obviously, Sami Zayn's been doing a lot of cool stuff this week. What with Montreal and the Bloodline and stuff like that. What else have we seen? We've seen AJ Styles in a great match for the US title. We've seen Theory come back. We've seen Roman cut another good promo. And AEW as well has been on fire. So yeah, we'll talk about Wrestler of the Week and we'll give it to Kenny Omega. He's back. He looks good. Obviously, he's still maybe got a bit of ring rust there, but he was still taking some sick bumps, like the Dragon Lee Tope Suicida, where he clattered Omega and they both fell in the crowd. That was insane. Omega, though, I'm expecting it to be the Elite versus House of Black for the Trios titles at All Out, which should be a great match. But yeah, Omega, I've missed him a lot, man. Like, he's one of my favourites, and it's good to see him back in wrestling. I just hope that he's healthy, and I hope he takes care of himself. I don't want him to kind of run until the wheels fall off like he did last time. Hopefully he can kind of be a place where he's good with his health and he's good with his body. And yeah, so excited to see what Omega does from here. He's my Wrestler of the Week. So before we get onto the NLW updates, let's go through a list of Patreon shouts out. This shout out goes to, if I can get up my screen here, Thank you to John, Cringe God, Remy Montoya, Anthony Hill, Casey Hellschool, Cupid, Devin Downlin, Flynn Lampkin, Ryan McCarthy, Outros World, and Kid Zap. Thank you all for supporting the channel. If you want to become a backer, actually, I've unpaused billing, so if you want to go and request a new match for my new XL Pro series, or even more kind of video suggestions and stuff too, I've updated the Patreon with a bunch of different tiers now, so if any of that interests you, you can go to the Patreon, link in the description. It's www.patreon.com/No Limits Wrestling. All the tiers are there. If you want to sign up for a month and then cancel immediately, you can do that. So check it out. It would help me financially as well, because I'm struggling to find a job at the moment, but that's neither here nor there. That's a bit of personal stuff. So I'm hoping to get more money in the bank and more eyes on the product. So if you want to support me on Patreon, even if it's just for a month, for $1, whatever you can afford, if you want to, that is, go to Patreon. But if you can't, that's perfectly fine too, because I've got a bunch of great content coming out on YouTube in the next couple of weeks, including, here we go, here's the seamless transition into the NLW updates. So, NLW updates include this week on the channel. I believe I will be uploading a room tour. That will be up Thursday. It's just basically a look at my new room and my new setup. We've also got coming this Saturday, NLW 24/7 presents All Out, featuring an Anarchy in the Arena match with Eddie Guerrero, Triple H, Kenny Omega, and more. We've also got a 30-minute Iron Man match on that show this Saturday between Punk and Okada. Maybe my favourite pick-fed match that I've ever made. I don't know. You guys be the judge. The Saturday after that, it's going to be the Road to Revival, which will be a special episode kind of chronicling the storylines heading into Revival. The week after that will be NLW 24/7 One Night Stand from the Hammerstein Ballroom, and every match will be Extreme Rules. And then the week after, on the 17th of September, it will be the Revival Buy-In. And after that, on the 24th of September, it's Metal Wrestling Revival in just over a month. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait for you guys to see All Out this Saturday either. That'll be 6 p.m. UK time that's up, as with all of my Saturday uploads. And also look out for a room tour right here on NLW Figs later on this week. So, that's it from me. Hopefully I can get this stinking camera to work. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and I'll catch you guys later.